What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. I keep going back and forth, wondering how low Bitcoin will go. The lowest, and what I'm confident on, what I don't go back and forth on, at least in my head, is that the lowest I could see us going is about 85K. Probably 85K to 90K, 90 to 85K, somewhere in that range. Probably, that makes sense to me if we were to go that low. But Bitcoin's in this kind of precarious situation right now where we're so bullish. There's so much attention on it. There's so much hype and demand. It just might not be able to go that low. We're reaching for it. We're looking like we want to. I'm sure a lot of shorts came in over the past 24 hours, and that puts those shorters in a very vulnerable position. All the price has to do is move back above 100K, and then people start talking about 120K again. I know I would, right? And we're just in this kind of very emotionally imbalanced situation, right? I think longs and shorts are getting wrecked, whether they're taking high leverage positions and getting stopped out on these wicks, or they've been in like low leverage positions going long for a long time or going short for a long time. They're getting eaten up by the fees. I think we've just got so much leverage going on here that we need to clean it out, and that's what we're doing. That's essentially what we're doing, right? We're moving down, we're moving up, we're moving down really fast, moving up, moving down, and nothing's really too far sustained. And again, I bet we got a lot of shorts in the last 24 hours. So I wouldn't think that we just plummet down to these levels is kind of what my thoughts are. But that is there. 90K to 85K could be what we're going to see over the next week and a half. I would think we find our low by the end of this week, which is about 6 days left. It could be sometime next week. It's very possible. If we look at the 4-hour candle or the 4-hour time frame, it's not really giving us too much. Overall, it seems as though it's in a downward trend, so that would say that we're going lower. But that's such a bullish candle to finish on, and you came in at clutch areas to find support. I wonder if we take this low here to this high, right off your 786, man, that's a nice bounce. That's a really nice bounce. I want to look at this on shorter term time frames. Hold on real quick. Let's see. From an hour. I mean, I don't know, man. That could have been it for Bitcoin, right? I was expecting a larger drop to happen, but that could have been it for Bitcoin. 94K, which I know sounds crazy, but it doesn't need to go lower. And it would kind of make sense that it doesn't go lower, because if we look at Bitcoin, if it were to go all the way down here, that's a 12% drop. You guys, if Bitcoin drops 12%, I mean, it dropped 3.8% yesterday. And all the altcoins dropped like 15% open to close, 20% from their high to low or more yesterday. Some coins are dropping 30, 40% like overall, maybe not on an open to close basis, but a high to a low basis, dropping dramatically. That was on a 3.8% move yesterday for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin moves down another 12%, you guys, altcoins are going to get obliterated. And of course, there's the rare circumstance, the rare situation which could happen, which is that Bitcoin moves down and altcoins don't move down. Sometimes that happens, but I don't really see that happening right now. If Bitcoin went down that much, I feel like that would cause a bit of a panic in people, a lot of fear, right? We rejected 100K, we're all the way back down below 90K. I feel like that would scare a lot of people. And if there's fear in the markets, altcoins get hit way harder than Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin from here were to move down 12% and altcoins get hit harder, what's that mean? They're going to move down like another 20 to 30%. And across the board, I have a hard time seeing that. So as weird as it is, and this is why I love crypto, because it all kind of ties in together. If I was looking at this Bitcoin chart by itself, blindly, and not even blindly, just very obviously with my eyes, with what makes sense through TA, common sense, this 85K to a 90K area would be the expectation. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. That's where we're going, 85 to 90K. But with the overall kind of consideration of the altcoins in this market, I don't think we do. In fact, I think we found our low. And I think what we're going to do all this week, and probably even going into next week, until we get closer to the 20th of December, right? Because when is Christmas week? Christmas week is the 23rd, so 23rd is a Monday. So probably the ass end of next week, right? Next week is the 16th, so 16th, +7, or is it +6 because the 16th? So 16 plus, it would be the 22nd. Yeah. Sometime at the very, I could have just looked at here and it says 23, subtracted 1, gotten to the end of the week here. If you don't know what I'm doing, it's okay. All I'm trying to say is I think that by the end of next week, we will start to see Bitcoin breaking out, not just above 100K, but like above 104K, above 105K, making strides going up toward 120K, 130K. Not by the end of this week, but by the end of next week. So what I think we're going to do until that time, till probably around the 20th, if not just before the 20th of December, let's put a vertical line there. Vertical line right here. Again, I don't think, and I was thinking yesterday and the days before, when we were up here, I was thinking that we could pull all the way back down to this zone, kind of, right? That was my expectation. But with how well we've done with these higher lows coming in, and then if we look at the daily RSI, we're cooled off. We rejected the overbought zone, and all we got, man, was a 3.8% candle with a pretty sizable wick to the downside, a higher low. Not that much volume came in, guys. We cooled off, right? That was like a stop hunt. That cleared out some longs, maybe put in some shorts to fuel us up to, and I bet a lot of shorts did open, man. I bet there were more shorts that opened up yesterday than longs that were closed. Lower lows in the RSI, higher lows in the price. It's a bullish setup, man. And we've really cooled off a good bit. I really would have thought that with breaking this trend line here, that we would have had a more dramatic sell-off. And we are only within like 24 hours of this day here. So who's to say? I think the rest of this week will definitely tell us, but it would be nice if we can hold this higher low trajectory. That would probably mean that we're going to be range bound between about 94, 95K to 101, 103K for the next week. We're probably just going to be range bound. And I would think by the end of this week, we're probably just chilling down here, maybe the occasional spike that sells off rather immediately. Like we might pump up to like 98K, 99K, something like that, and then sell back off to like these prices here. But I think the rest of the week we move sideways. Going into next week, we could start moving up. And I would think by the end of next week, not this week, we still have like a full 10 days to go, but sometime around the 20th, maybe just before the 20th, the 18th, 19th, or right on the 20th, or just after the 20th, somewhere around there, you guys, we're going to break away from this zone to the upside, right? If we're looking at what we have here, and this might help, hopefully. Let's see. We're looking at what we have here from our lows, okay? We try to get like a line of best fit. Maybe that's not it. Maybe it's something more like this. I don't know. Something like this. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, kind of, whatever. And then we do a line like this at the top. I think we're going to be basically in this range here until, and this goes all the way until like the 26th. I would say until the 22nd is my thoughts. So we're only going to be in here for so long before we bust out to the upside. And I don't think we'll break out to the downside. If we do break out to the downside, if we do go lower, okay, that's fine. I still plan everything. We're still going to recover. It's just the difference of the dynamic would be, are we moving down over the next week, or are we just kind of consolidating and moving up and moving down, being boring? I think we're going to be boring because my theory, again, and I've been saying it the whole video, I'm going to end it with this. My theory is that there's a lot of leverage going on, right? And that's why we're moving sideways, guys, right? That's why we're moving sideways, because you have an equal amount of people up here, and maybe it's not completely equal, but you have a bunch of people who think we're going to tear through 100K. I'm in that camp. That's my thoughts. We're going to tear through it. It's not even going to be close. We're going to rip all the way up through 110K. Doesn't stand a chance. We're going straight to 120K or likely higher. Or there's the camp, we just hit 100K, we're going to reject, we're going down to 80K or more, no stop, right? But there's people on very extreme sides on both sides of the camp, and they're putting all their longs and short trades in right here. Exchanges, whenever you go long and you make money, right, the exchange and the shorters, they pay you, right? They pay you. Whenever it goes down, same thing. But the exchanges make the most money from fees, and they generate the most fees in moments like this, whenever you're at that precipice of going up or going down. Because who's going to short Bitcoin when it's on a breakout above 110K? Who's going to short it? Probably not many people. Who's going to long it? Probably not many people. Who's going to short and long Bitcoin right at 100K, right in this area? Probably everybody in the market who has access to leverage trading capabilities. And the exchanges make the most money while the price isn't doing anything. They're racking in the fees, guys. They're racking them in hard. Day after day, week after week, we haven't gone anywhere. nobody, like, unless you're doing very short-term trading, and if you're doing leverage trading, you should be doing short-term trading, but most people aren't sophisticated like that, right? They think, I'm going to go short here and ride it out to 80K, dreaming. I'm going to go long here and ride it out to 120K, dreaming. And people will catch that. There are people that will catch that, but the majority of the market either will get shaken out in that time, they'll get bled dry because of fees, or they'll just get bored, and try again somewhere else. But that's kind of my theory as to why I don't believe we're going to go too much lower, and why I don't believe we're going to go higher just yet. I think as we get closer to Christmas week, we will see this bad boy break out to the upside. Being that Bitcoin will probably move sideways over this next week, that does leave the door open for altcoins to rally in that time. Not every altcoin, but probably some, right? Just because Bitcoin consolidates doesn't mean every altcoin will rally, but throughout this whole time, there's like different phases where certain coins were rallying, right? Not every coin was rallying at the same time, and not every coin rallied throughout this whole phase of consolidation. But really, up until like the last 2 days, every coin in the market, there's been phases where each kind of niche or each coin took their turn pumping, right? At first it was like XRP and XLM, and then it was Mana and Sand, and then it was HBAR and Jasmy, and then it was Pepe. Actually, probably Pepe all this last week has been doing really well, right? And then there was Dogecoin too. There's everything takes its turns is all I'm trying to say. And I think not all of crypto over this next week will pump, but we might see some altcoins, some pumping, some recovering, right? Some recovery going on. That's what consolidation normally provides for Bitcoin. But don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the markets as a whole are kind of boring from here on through like probably, I would say, the 15th or beyond. So like this next week is probably just going to be boring. And that's all I got to say. I don't know, man. A lot of theory, some technical analysis, a lot of talking on my behalf. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. The 4-hour would suggest we go a little bit lower. So we're at 96.66K now. I do believe we go lower. I just don't believe we go lower than this low, or if we do go lower than this low, I don't think we go lower than this low, right? Something between these lows is kind of what I would expect at the most from here. And if I'm wrong, then it'd be more like 85K to 90K at the most, but time will tell. Really, I'm just expecting Bitcoin to be boring, be range bound. And before I keep repeating myself, I'm going to end the video. So take care, hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you all for being here. Bye-bye.